1 FM and AM 1160, and we're joined on the line this morning by Father John Pavlick, and our conversation brought to you by Marcus and Mack, a law firm representing injured people. And Father John, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Todd.
It's good to have you with us here. New pastor at the Our Lady of the Assumption Parish, covering the two churches in Lucernemines and in Coral. And you've been there how long?
Oh, I arrived in mid-July, and so I've been acclimating ever since. But it's a great place to be.
Well, it's so good to have you here. And when we think about the parishes in Indiana County, we have several smaller parishes, several multi-parishes, if you will, multi-churches within one parish. This particular one is as historic as you can get, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is. Actually, what I've discovered is that there's a marvelous tradition of Catholic parishes across this portion of the county. I'm beginning to think of this as the Catholics in the corridor, the 119 corridor between Indiana and Blairsville.
There you go.
There were all sorts of little settlements here where people came and decided they were going to remain faithful to God and build churches, build communities, and raise families. And this is sort of our legacy. This is what we find here at this place. And Assumption Parish is the place that plays out currently. So I consider myself privileged to be kind of drawn in to this great history here.
Well, let's introduce you to folks who don't know you, as you are new to our area, and find out about you a little bit. Where are you from originally?
I was born in New Kensington, actually. That's many years ago. My family was in the Allegheny Valley. My dad's people were of Slovak heritage and were from Tarentum across the river. And my mother's were Polish from New Kensington. So I was born and raised there at St. Mary's Parish and did my grade school there. For high school, I went up to Butler County, and that's where I first met the Capuchin Friars. And then from there on, I went to the college there and on to Slippery Rock University, where I prepared to do a master's degree, or did a master's degree for teaching on the high school level. Then moved on to do theology studies in Washington, D.C. at the Theological Coalition and also at Catholic University and places like that. Then I came back to teach at the school in Butler County, moved on to a parish in the Beaver Valley, and then from there was drawn in to do formation for religious life and priesthood. So I went to Cleveland, where I was on the faculty of the seminary there. Moved from there down to Washington, D.C., where I ended up heading the house there, sort of rector of the community that was preparing guys both for life commitment as Capuchins and also for the priesthood. It's been an interesting ride. I went from there to leadership and worked with all sorts of other people along the way, like sisters and brothers. And my last responsibility before I came here was to be executive director for the Conference of Major Superiors and Men, sort of an umbrella group for all people who are not sort of diocesan priests, you know?
Yeah.
Brothers, monks, that sort of thing.
As you go swinging around, if we were to Google map that and trace your footsteps, you make a big circle, don't you?
I would say a pretty huge circle, because in each of those two you were traveling quite a bit. So
yeah.
Our Capuchin jurisdiction covered the mid-Atlantic states, so it went from southern Indiana, Ohio, West Virginia, all of Pennsylvania, down to Maryland and Washington, D.C. But we had missionary responsibilities in Papua New Guinea, which is north of Australia, if you know where that, if you can picture it there on the map. And then we also had a commitment to Puerto Rico. So when I was working in leadership, I was globe-trotting for a little while, you know, to take care of the brothers, the priests, and the people there. Also went to India to work to find others to assist the church. So it's been a marvelous marvelous experience for me in my life.
It really sounds fascinating. We need to get into that at some point at a later date. Just talk about all of those different travels and what you find worldwide. But here we are in Indiana County, PA, and of course the diocesan changes were announced in the summertime. And I don't know that there's ever been a Capuchin community here in Indiana County, but you're here with others of the Capuchin friary as well, aren't you?
I am. So we have Richard Owens, who's the pastor there at St. Bernard's, and he's assisted by Tage Danielson, a young priest who's only celebrating his first anniversary to ordination. Mm-hmm. And then we also have a Korean brother. He's a member of our province, but he's from Korea, South Korea, and he's a missionary. He intends to go back to Papua New Guinea soon. He has a degree in nursing, and he's been waiting all of the right visas and whatnot to return there. And then we also have another fellow with us recently, Matthew Pelkowski. He's another priest, and he's been working in Clymer and with the churches there as well. He's scheduled to become a chaplain at the prison there. What's the prison?
SCI Pine Grove. Mm-hmm.
Pine Grove, exactly.
Yeah.
And also to be a chaplain for the Indiana Regional Medical Center.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting group of guys. I'm sort of the old timer among the group, if you would, which is nice to be in that senior position. You know.
Do you get to eat first or anything? Does age give you that privilege? No,
I'm afraid not. Franciscan life is far too not dependent upon any sense of false pretense, you know.
No seniority.
No, it doesn't really get you anything at all, you know. Except we have a marvelous group of guys. I enjoy the ordinary way of getting together is to go there every day, to pray together, to have meals, at least the evening meal together. Mm-hmm. That's what we try to do. We get up early in the morning and do our personal prayer and then communal prayer, and then it's off for me here to Assumption Parish, to the church and choral for daily Mass with the people.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about Masses at the churches in Lucernemines and in choral, because you've actually added some recently. Tell me about the decision-making process and how you decide this is what's needed here, and maybe we can look forward to something else in the future. Setting that schedule can be a pretty daunting task, can it?
Well, I suppose I've learned in any of my ministries to spend a lot of time listening to people. You have to find out what people are looking for, what they wish, what would serve their needs best. I mean, after all, I'm here as a friar and a priest to serve the people here in this area. And so I spent a lot of time asking what they would like, and I heard people say a couple things that led us to come up with this new schedule. One was that people wanted Masses at a time a little more friendly to families or friendly to their own personal needs. For instance, can elderly people get up in time to do an 8 o'clock Mass? And what about families getting the kids out of bed and getting them to church? And is 4 o'clock in the evening the only option that somebody would have? I mean, I heard those sorts of things. I also heard that people wanted coming to church and not feeling too uncomfortable at being too close to one another in the time of COVID. So we were actually maxing out at the number we were permitted according to the safety plan developed. And because of that, we needed to have somewhere to have more people. Short of moving out to the parking lot and having a Mass outdoors, what we came up with was a need to look for the times that would serve what people want. And so that's how we came upon, in addition to the 4 o'clock Mass in Lucerne, having a 6 o'clock Mass here at Choral. And then we also decided, I heard a number of people say that they wanted to have a morning Mass, like a 9 o'clock or 9:30. We measured that against our religious education program, faith formation program, and realized that we could do a Mass at 9 o'clock in choral, and still be able to welcome the children for religious education, so that we could conclude that around 10:30, and therefore we put on an 11 o'clock Mass up at Lucerne. Last weekend was the first weekend to try this, and so I'm expecting to see a little more shifting of folks, but we already gained, I'm going to guess, if looking at the numbers is correct, we gained at least another 30 people, I believe,
wow,
by starting that.
Well, that's wonderful, wonderful. This is, of course, First Friday, and you have certain duties that you have to attend to. So we only have a minute left with Father John Pavlick. As you move forward with the needs of this particular parish, and your brothers move forward in their particular parishes, I'm sure you have great hope for what's happening in the Catholic Church movement within Indiana County.
Oh, I certainly do. I mean, it's my experience. I've worked in many places in parishes. I've never had an assignment in my life where I didn't work somewhere in parishes. And I often find that there are marvelous people, first of all, with whom you're drawn to work. And secondly, I find that people are looking for someone to help them break open the treasure that's present in our faith. And that combination of those two things, finding people who want that and finding the treasure that the Lord gives us and making it available to others, is the vision, the primary vision, I think.
Father John, we have spent just a little bit of time with you. I hope we can do some more with you in the future, because it sounds like a really fascinating conversation. I appreciate your time today, though.
You're very welcome, Todd, and I appreciate you inviting me. Look forward to another opportunity.
Have a great day today.
You too. God bless. Bye. You too. God bless. Bye.